Greetings, bike guys and bike gals. A lot of you guys that watch our videos think that all we ride in is the high desert, but I was going to take us out to the motocross track. Well, boys and girls, I ended up taking a trip over to the Sacramento area to the Prairie City Off-Highway Vehicle Park, and in the middle of that park is this motocross track. Some of you have heard of it, called Hangtown. This is the Hangtown National Championship motocross track, and I wanted to go over and just do some laps. Now, I've ridden this track before, I've raced here and that sort of thing over the years. While I'm not a great motocross rider, I do enjoy riding a little motocross, and that it helps you in a lot of ways when you're riding. One of the things that happens on a motocross track like this, every lap you go around, the track is basically the same. It doesn't change. Like when we're out in the desert or whatever, you come around a corner, there could be a big hole, or it could be a ravine, or it could be a rock, something like that. But on the motocross track, they stay pretty consistent throughout the day. Now the lines will change a little bit and stuff like that, but it gives you a chance to work on your cornering speeds. Jumping is always a good thing. Just like this in these photos, you can see there's guys out there that are faster than me, and there are guys out there that are a lot slower than me. But what I'm doing is I'm just working on skills and techniques and on things that will help my overall riding. And I really recommend this to off-road people to go to the track. Now, on this particular day, it was just an open practice. You pay your money and you can just go out and circulate on the track, and they have the track prepped. You can see they've been watering it. They only watered it once, like the night before or something, and it dried out as the day went by. But the track is somewhat prepped. Most of the big braking bumps and stuff like that have been taken out, and they knocked down those ruts and things like that prior to the practice. They get turned right back up shortly thereafter. But anyway, I wanted to just talk about motocross in comparison to off-roading. Now, I cut my teeth just trail riding in the neighborhood that I grew up in, and we rode all kinds of different things. And then eventually I started to race motocross when I was 14 years old. And I thoroughly enjoyed motocross, and it's a great place to practice your skills, improve your cornering speeds, learn to handle the bike when it's under power. It has a lot of benefits for your overall riding. And then over the years, I would go desert racing, I would go enduro racing. I did a lot of different kinds of events, Grand Prix, Baja 1000, all kinds of stuff. But every couple of years I go back and do a little season on the motocross track, and it just makes you a better overall rider. Now, if you've never gone out and rode on an official, real motocross track, look around in your area and see if you can find a day where they're just having an open practice like this. You don't have to ride a national track, but there are plenty of local tracks that are available. But you can go out and then you watch the other riders. The ones that are regulars at a motocross track, they use different techniques than off-roaders do, just in jumping and all kinds of things like that. They learn how to balance the bikes differently. So I highly recommend, if you get a chance to go to the track, do. Take your enduro bike, take your two-stroke, take your trail bike. It's all fine. On these open days, nobody cares what you're riding or whatever. You don't have to have the latest, greatest, fastest, best bike. You don't have to have all the latest, greatest, fastest, best riding gear or anything like that. But it gives you a chance to work on these skills. And with these other riders going by, you say, oh, I'm afraid those guys are going to jump on me. No, they don't want to hit you any more than you want to be hit. So what they're going to do is they're used to riding on a track. And if you just take, one of the wider lines or the side lines or something like that, or just stay on the line you're on, they'll figure out how to go around you. If they're faster than you, they're going to go by, guaranteed. And they'll just figure out a spot to make it happen. Now, a couple other things you can learn from going to the track. You can change your suspension settings. So on some of these big jumps and stuff like that, it might, if you have an enduro bike that you have the suspension set up soft on it, well, put 5 or 6 clicks in the forks and 4 or 5 clicks in your shock and see how it feels. You can always just count it. All right, I put 6 in the front and 5 in the back. And then when you go back to trail riding, you just turn it back 5 and turn it back 6, whatever it is. And you can see how the bike responds to things and how it works and that sort of thing. You can feel the suspension better when you're riding the same thing all the time. Like on a motocross track, the jumps don't change much. When you come around, it's going to be the same. The bumps are going to be the same. So it gives you a chance to feel how your suspension can move around. Also, you learn how to maybe use your clutch a little differently, like coming out of this turn and use a little clutch to get up out of there. It's a steeper turn than it looks in the video. And then here we got a little double jump coming into this turn, and this hill is way steeper than it looks. But you just figure out how you can get up there and break into the turns. You break in harder because you're coming in faster and that sort of thing. And it'll improve your overall riding experience. And what ends up happening is you take, like that one, I just took the inside line. The last few laps I took the outside line. I move around. I'll hit the jump on the left. I'll hit the jump on the right. I'll hit the turn on the inside where it's tight, maybe a berm turn there, or I'll go wide. I'll try different things. I try different lines. And you'll end up learning a lot of things about rider technique. Now this one I was going wide before, that time I went on the inside. See how it feels. How does your bike react? Because it's going to be a little bit different as you go. And don't worry about trying to make big giant jumps and all that stuff like the Supercross and the pro riders we get to see on that. If you're not comfortable with jumping those big jumps and stuff, most of the tracks nowadays have jumps that you can jump halfway and you land on top of it. This one could be one of them. You could land halfway and then go down the hill. And then you'll find the faster riders will jump over the entire thing and land the downside, which is the faster and smoother route. But if you're not comfortable with that, don't worry about it. Don't be afraid to go out on the track. Just say, oh, those big jumps intimidate me. Well, they'll intimidate you a lot less after you get a chance to ride them. Now this young man here that I'm following around, he was Nervous Nelly. He was a pretty good rider, but he didn't have much experience. He'd only been riding a couple of years, and he kept trying, and the jumps really intimidated him. But we had a good time. At first, when I was first following him, he kept looking over his shoulder. He was afraid I was going to run into him or something. I said, no, I'm not going to run into you. I'm taking your picture with my camera, but I need to be close enough to see you. So like this jump here, he didn't want to double that, and I did. And the next one is kind of the same thing. I think in the frame earlier you can see where he came up alongside me, but the jump intimidated him, so I went by. But if you can get together with a couple of friends and go out to one of these practice days at your local motocross track and just learn from each other and talk about how you did this and how you did that and what that corner feels like and stuff like that, And I will guarantee you, you will improve your riding skill. Then when you get out into the hills, you won't feel like you're going quite as fast. And you'll be able to turn better. And you just improve your braking points and all kinds of things like that. So I highly recommend it. And if you get a chance to ride the pro motocross track down at Hangtown, I would say go give it a try. It's big. It makes it, when you watch the pros, they make it look easy, and then you get out there and you go, oh man, this thing is bigger, the jumps are bigger, everything is bigger. So anyway, keep hitting that subscribe button and all those things down at the bottom, and we'll talk to you guys soon.